Hello folks and welcome back to another video on my channel. This video is about a comment I got under my last video and it's from @Q_WZ8591 and he wrote, I like that rig on X-M5. Can you make a video about that rig please? Yes bro, this video is for you. It's a complete breakdown of my Fujifilm X-M5 video rig. If you find any of that information helpful, feel free to comment, like and subscribe, and if you have anything that you would change about this rig or any ideas how to improve it, please let me know. And with that, let's dive right into the video. Have fun, bro. And with that, welcome to the breakdown of my Fujifilm X-M5 video rig. We're starting out with obviously the Fuji X-M5. We have a lens, but this is something for later. And we have a cage. This is the SmallRig X-M5 cage, basically the only full camera cage you can find for the X-M5. If you know any other cages, feel free to let me know. For now on, we take this little screwdriver and Allen key that's sitting right here in the cage. Just like that. Now we turn the camera around and we start with the next thing. I don't know who made this plate, but it's a simple quick release plate that just has a lot of threads and yeah, let's mount it to the camera. One thing that is very important is to mount everything very secure because you're putting a lot of weight onto those connections and risking destroying your camera. So we take two screws, put them through the base plate, take our Allen key, so for now, this is how the Fujifilm X-M5 looks. And we add one thing. We flip the monitor out and take the Ulanzi cooling fan. This is just to extend the runtime on warmer days. We just clip it in like that. And we have an active cooling solution. So we set the camera aside and start building the rest of our rig. We have this SmallRig base plate that can hold two 15mm rods. Two SmallRig rods, just right in there, 30 centimeters. And now we take our base plate and screw it onto the SmallRig base plate. For that, we use two more screws and a little bonus tip for extra stability and to make it look better, just watch out that everything is flat on the front. Two screws. So nothing can go anywhere where we don't want it to be. For the V-mount plate, I use the series AMVM01. It's a very simple V-mount plate. One thing I will be changing on this rig is switching to a battery plate that has connectors and D-tap outputs, so I can connect my camera without a battery, with the dummy battery directly over D-tap. But building the rig like that has one advantage and I'm gonna show it to you in a couple of minutes. Make the rods about the same length, just like that. And now SmallRig NPF plate, and we just put it on the opposite side directly onto the V-mount plate. Because we don't want to make the camera rig too heavy and we have a very energy efficient camera, we take a small V-mount battery. It doesn't matter which one. This one is a 95 watt-hour battery that's pretty small and fits nicely on the back of our rig. With a click of a button, we can remove it or just put it inside again. For the NPF battery, we just clip in one NPF battery here, and now we can start with putting the camera onto the base plate. One very important thing is to put the rods a bit more back so they sit flush against the end of the V-mount battery. Why? Because I put my camera right here on an edge and the V-mount came off, and this is something we don't want. So for better and extra protection, we put the rods a bit more to the back, so everything is more stable. We need to add one more plate, and this is just to set the camera on the ground or to mount it on tripods. This is a Manfrotto base plate from my video tripod. We just put it on the bottom, but don't make it too tight because you need to change the position of this later, because later on we put the whole rig on a tripod and need to balance it. So for now we just put it there and tighten it so we don't lose it. But yes, it needs some work to be balanced on a tripod and actually be useful. This is a top handle. I used to use a small rig top handle, but this one just feels a bit better. I don't know where to get it because I just traded with a friend of mine. I gave him a small rig grip and took his grip. So we just put it on here, tighten it, and that's it. Now for the monitor solution. We use a Viltrox DC550 monitor, and for extra redundancy we put one NPF battery on the back of the monitor. Put the sunshade on because, yeah, when we film with a lot of light, we need to see a clear image without any distraction. We set the monitor aside and take the monitor mount. The original Viltrox DC550 monitor mount broke. I don't like it, I don't recommend it. So let's take this small rig monitor mount, just slide it right in here on the front of our rig, tighten it down, and now we add the monitor. Now we have a top handle, but how do we grab this camera on the side? Because we will be having cables going from here to the V mount, and from the NPF plate to the monitor, one HDMI cable. It's a whole lot of cables, so we add another side grip. I'll be using this small rig side handle, and yeah, to get all of these things, just search top handle, side handle on Amazon, and every one of those items will be one of the first items that Amazon is showing you. So we add the side handle right here, tighten it down. But now we have one problem. It sits way too high. So we loosen these screws right here and get it a bit more down. It just has to feel natural and balanced, and it's up to you how high or on which position you're mounting your grips. But it has to feel about right, and you should be able to hold the rig comfortably. Now we're done with the basic rigging, so let's add a lens. Why do we have those rods? The X-M5 itself is just connected with one screw inside of the cage. That is not enough for cinema lenses or heavier lenses. So depending on the lens, we need the rods to put a support plate here, or to add a follow focus if we use with rental lenses. For example, in my case, when I use cinema lenses, I usually rent them, and I rent a focus unit with it. So depending on the job, it's a LiDAR unit, a tilter nucleus, something other wireless, or just a classical manual follow focus. But for now, we go with the 16:1.4, because why do we need to follow focus if we have electronic coupling? So it's easy with the thumb or with your index finger from this side to pull focus. That's just weight we don't need on this rig. And for a matte box, we're using this newer carbon fiber one with the rod mount, so it acts as extra support for the lens and the filter stack. So we screw our 67 to 95 millimeter adapter in, and put the matte box in. I'm using this piece of shit because I'm just trying with cardboard and some paper to make a plate that's big enough for the image circle. I'm designing them for all of my lenses so I can order 3D printed parts, so the matte box isn't just for looks and does something. Now our rig looks pretty good, but what do we do with the tools? This key goes right in here into the cage, and the other Allen key goes inside the handle. So every tool we need to dismantle this rig and rebuild it, or to change things, even for the screws on the matte box and everything, is built right into the rig. So you can never forget your tools, and that's very great. For a microphone, this depends on what you're needing, but for my case, I just need a bit of scrap audio and room tone, so we fix this Rode mic. And on the other side, we just add the DJI Mic Mini, and just like that, everything fits nicely. So if I want to switch from the microphone audio to the wireless audio, I just take the microphone cable, route it like that, put it into the transmitter, or transmitter? I wanted to say receiver, but we plug it into the back into the microphone. So this is basically how the rig looks. But now it looks cool, but does nothing. We need cables. Now, why do we have an NPF plate with an NPF battery here and one battery here? And why do we have one battery in the X-M5 and one battery here? It's pretty simple. Redundancy and hot swapping. So if I'm connecting the monitor, it runs off of this battery, but if it goes empty, I have the extra NPF battery on the monitor that is keeping the monitor for roughly 30 minutes alive, so I can switch out the battery in the back. We have one camera in the X-M5 that is capable of roughly 3 hours of standby time and an hour of runtime, so it allows us to hot swap the V-mount battery. Later on, I'll be switching to a plate with contacts and running everything over 12 volt and D-tap, so we have one plate, and I'm gonna put the NPF plate on the battery plate, so the NPF is the battery for redundance, and a bigger V-mount is basically powering camera, microphones, the cooling fan, and the monitor. Now the rig should work, but it's ugly, so I recommend getting this. Those are just little Velcro straps. You can get them on a roll, 4-meter roll, $1.99 I think, and you just take a pair of scissors and cut them to the right length. So let's do the cable management, and then I'm going to show you the final result. And with that, we did our cable management, got everything ready. We can hot swap the V-mount, we can hot swap with the NPF, and we have a battery in the camera, one battery on the monitor. It just holds nicely, works, and I would say it's purpose built for the stuff I'm doing. And that, guys, was a full breakdown of my Fujifilm X-M5 video rig, and this is how I do client work with this tiny little camera. Thank you for watching, have a nice one, and see you the next time. Bye.